Tammy Falls is feeling fine now, clean bill of health, but on Saturday late last month, the thought of what she had put into her mouth made her feel
sick. I was instantly sick to my stomach.
On May 27th, just after the restaurant had opened, Tammy picked up some sandwiches from this KFC on River Road and went to a friend's house with her husband and children to eat.
Right when I started taking another bite, my daughter's like, "Oh, Mom, what is that?" I turned my sandwich around and it's blood.
Tammy also says she noticed blood drops on the wrapper and the lettuce, and she brought the sandwich back to the KFC store.
I need a manager.
Tammy says she left her name with the manager on duty, and after days passed with no return phone calls, Tammy contacted the Lane County Health and Human Services Department. A health department investigation revealed an employee cut his hand while slicing tomatoes. He covered the cut with a bandage, but it did not contain the bleeding. He then made the snacker sandwich Tammy ordered. Inspectors with the Health and Human Services Department say after that worker cut himself, the managers here failed to follow protocol.
The protocol is if an employee has an open cut or a sore on their finger, they're restricted from working, or I should say on their hand, they're restricted from working, or that has to be covered with an impermeable cover.
If he was bleeding that bad, he never should have ate our sandwiches.
It appears no other customers were affected because Tammy's sandwich was the first order of the day after the place opened, and workers immediately scrubbed down the food preparation area. The health department investigation report obtained by News Source 16 says any food that was potentially contaminated was discarded. Health officials say there is no further health threat to customers. Meantime, Tammy and her daughter, who also ate a sandwich that morning, have gotten back blood work results. Everything's negative. In Santa Clara, Mark Mullins, KMTR News Source 16.
I think honey is just, there's just something pure about it, and there's something that I think it's more complex than just the sweetener itself.
The sweet thing about honey is that there's a story behind every bottle.
As a beekeeper myself, it's definitely not science. You have to experience it, and you have to do it and live it to really appreciate what beekeeping's all about.
Dick Turansky and his son have been in the bee business for over 35 years, and having a good relationship with these bumbling buzzers keeps you and I from going hungry.
You know, we forget that 1/3 of our food supplies depend upon bees for the increase in the production. 130 crops in the United States depend on bees for pollination.
It takes 22,000 bees to fill a single jar of honey. Yeah, that sounds like a lot, but when the queen bee is popping out 200,000 babies within a single year, that task is filled quickly. It's time now for us to see these honeymakers hard at work.
This is a jacket with a veil, so you can just.
I'm gonna look like a spaceman.
Yeah, you look like a spaceman or something like that, but you'll be well protected. You can just
do my hands. Okay, so
just put
it's
your
full
arms
on.
in that like a shirt. There you go. You look good. See, you're ready to go.
Luke, I am your father. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, Dick, tell me what is this little?
Well, this is a smoker.
Okay.
And causes the bees to not be as defensive.
In other words, they're less likely to sting. And how many is in here right now? Are in here?
Well, there's probably 15, 20,000 bees in here.
You got it.
And these are all basically worker bees, and then there might be a drone. And it would be really amazing if we found a queen this quickly.
All of them together spend their whole life working and keeping their queen safe. Sounds like a pretty simple and important task. Well, there you go. Had the suit on, didn't really need it. Well, I'm glad I had it. Look. These things can just fly outside the box. I don't know why we're standing out here. Hey, Alan, can I keep this?
You got it. It's yours.
I'll make sure to take this at home. New beekeeper, Jordan Steele. Woohoo!
Honey's of course great in baking. Honey's of course great in baking. Keeps the moisture in the baked goods. Keeps the moisture in the baked goods. Again, great on wounds. It's again great on wounds and soothe the throat.
What is it? Like super glue?
It's antibacterial, and so honey helps prevent your wound from getting infected.
What number is this going to? 38. I never ever thought I could change someone's life by food.
But that's exactly what Travis Miller is doing these days. The first life he had to change was his own. Long before his health problems began, Travis opened this My Coffee shop in West Eugene. Then a couple of years ago, an obvious, hard-to-ignore sign that something was wrong.
My tonsils being completely swollen to the fact that I couldn't breathe and having to call my mother and have her take me to the hospital because my throat was completely swollen shut.
Doctors told him it was tonsillitis and advised his tonsils be cut out.
And I just refused to take that answer.
Finally, a fifth opinion and a blood test revealed that Travis had celiac disease, a lifelong genetically inherited disease in which the body doesn't process a gluten protein and deteriorates the intestines.
Then I went 8 weeks without eating gluten to make sure that the blood test was correct.
And what happened after that 8 weeks?
Within the first week, my tonsils shrank half the size.
Your body kind of attacks itself because it doesn't like the gliadin. Gliadin is a protein that's in gluten, and we don't digest it.
Diane Connell should know. She's the head of the Eugene chapter of the Gluten Intolerance Group and has celiac herself. And like Travis, she must avoid wheat, barley, oats, and rye, and any products made with these grains. No medical cure for it.
It doesn't take a pill to fix it.
Just a drastic lifestyle change. A trip to the supermarket and a close reading of labels taught Travis something.
I discovered that gluten was in everything. Not only that, I discovered that eating out was no longer a convenience. I discovered that the small things that you cherish, like a sandwich, whether it's made at home or whether it's from a fast food restaurant, that was not going to be there anymore for me. So it was a humongous eye-opener.
After pining over research online and asking questions about what he could and could not eat, Travis discovered very few eateries geared to people like him.
I couldn't eat out really anymore, and I just didn't think that was right.
And so he added the Go Healthy Cafe to his My Coffee joint, built a new kitchen and prep tables, and learned what it takes to offer a gluten-free menu.
You just take out all the grains that would contain gluten, as in your wheat, your barley, your rye, and you use substitutes as like rice. You can use potato flour.
Not only ingredients, but also how the food is made is what counts, since cross-contamination, even if it's just a crumb, can trigger sickness in those with gluten diseases. All the food that is made gluten-free are prepared with special utensils that are color-coded with this green, and that counts in the customer dining area and back in the kitchen. Green is the gluten-free color at Go Healthy. This sandwich made on a specially designated green cutting board with a green knife.
I had a lady one day that just blew my mind away. She came up and ordered a gluten-free sandwich and told me, thank you so much. And it was the first time she's had a gluten-free sandwich in 16 years.
And so Travis Miller is changing lives with his restaurant. It's the first one in Eugene Springfield area certified by the Gluten Intolerance Group, a place where the guy who runs it is also a guy who needs it.
Woohoo! 19-month-old Kylie has daddy's personality and her mommy's eyes, all because Elizabeth Liesel Wechter had a vision when she created the Pearl Buck Center.
It gave me a whole new life.
In 1953, there was no special education offered by public schools to help children with developmental and intellectual disabilities. She opened the Pearl Buck School, which over the years would evolve into the center, opening a door to opportunities for people like Clint Henderson and Melissa Mack. Through various programs at Pearl Buck, Melissa and Clint have learned skills and landed jobs.
It feels good. I can actually go out and pay bills.
Clint is sanding, cleaning, and sweeping at Fuller Cabinets, working 15 to 25 hours a week. Melissa works the same amount at Pearl Buck and will forever remember hearing the words, "You're hired."
It felt pretty good. It meant that I was going to be able to take care of myself and make my own money.
But Pearl Buck and work are not all that Melissa and Clint have in common. They knew each other at Springfield High School, not well, but got to know each other better at Pearl Buck, and a romance was born.
Do you remember your first date?
No.
Clint does. He remembers asking her out. He remembers Melissa accepting and what they did on that first date.
Sitting at home playing video games.
He even remembers their first kiss.
Somewhat.
But what Pearl Buck has provided them is no laughing matter. It's cleared a path to a world that previously was blocked.
I'd probably still be living with my father, probably not with the person that I'm with, and probably wouldn't have the daughter I have.
Yes, a daughter, 19 months old, Kylie, mommy's eyes.
My looks, my personality.
Melissa says that's up for debate, but something they do agree on.
We love going to the park. We love doing anything we can to get her out, running around and playing, get her as active as possible.
All of it possible because of Pearl Buck, where they received the training, the assistance to eventually support themselves.
It's important to me because I'm able to keep a roof over my head and feed my stomach and clothes on my back, and now I have a baby and I can take care of her, which makes it even better.
Very, very important for me to come in and work and be able to make that paycheck to go out and buy her the stuff that she wants and the stuff she needs.
Clint started at Fuller Cabinets as the cleanup guy, just like anybody else would.
He's moved into the finish area now as a sanding assistant, finish assistant.
Colin Benson says for Clint, the sky's the limit.
Really, there's nothing in this building that Clint can't do. His next step will be cabinet assembly. He'll be moving on to countertops after that. It just depends on if he sticks around here and how far he wants to go.
And Kylie will be on the go too, next year to the Pearl Buck Preschool. It's another arm of this massive support system. At the preschool, Kylie receives all she needs to prepare for kindergarten, elementary school, and so on, allowing Clint and Melissa to continue working and raising their daughter and contributing to a community that has given so much to Pearl Buck.
It's a very good service for people that can't normally get a job on their own. That will help you out in every way they can, support you in a lot of more ways than you can imagine. They've done a lot for me and my family.
All because of someone Clint and Melissa never knew, just knew of. A woman only seen in all the black and white photos. Elizabeth Liesel Wechter, who had a vision 60 years ago.
Our first way to save, try spacing out your trips to the store. Challenge yourself to go to the supermarket every other week. That helps avoid impulse buying and could save you $150 a month. Instead, on those off weeks, challenge yourself to raid your fridge for food that's already there. And go through the cabinets too. And get creative with the food you find. You might be able to stretch your dollar.
Use your local library. It's not just for checking out books, you can get DVDs too. Check in at the Eugene Public Library, and you can check out at least 10 DVDs at a time. You'll find plenty of new, current, and classic flicks, and you'll find them all for free if you live within the city limits.
And what you're seeing on the shelves are what's available for anyone to just walk in today, browse, check it out. It's less than half of our collection because most of them are out being used by people right now. It's totally free with your library card.
If you drop your online or mail order video subscription service or resist those cable on-demand orders and you switch to using the library, you could save about $10 a month. The Eugene Library even has a web page to help you calculate how much you could save each month.
Save money by parting with what you've got. It's a deal as good as gold. If you're willing to part with your gold items, they could bring in a chunk of change.
Right now, the price of gold is soaring. Since people are shifting back to assets that hold their value, the value of gold hit $1,800 an ounce this month. Conserve water and save a little money on your utility bill. Take shorter showers or switch to a low-flow shower head. You could cut your water costs in half. The Springfield Utility Board says it offers low-flow shower heads, or you can invest around $15 at a home improvement store. And rest assured, you won't lose water pressure. Got kids? Team up with other families to trade babysitting time. A local nonprofit parenting resource, Birth to 3, even brings families together to help out.
One of the things that we really believe in is bringing parents together and helping them form a community of families where they can learn to trust each other and depend on each other for childcare. So you can take turns watching each other's children. So you can go to either appointments or maybe have a night out or even just have a break so you can get your laundry done.
And if you need a fresh look for that night out, avoid spending buka bucks on a new outfit. Instead, Check your closet for what's already there and take it to the tailor. Take it in or hem it up for a fraction of the price of buying new clothes. A renewed look and extra money in your pocket. And since the winter's here, weather strip and insulate. It's easy to find the leaks.
Get an incense stick that has you can burn it and it has a nice thin line of smoke, and go around to your windows and your doors and see if it's blowing. If that little stream is blowing, then you know that you've got a leak in your weather stripping or maybe some kind of a small crack.
Then you can fix your weather stripping using an inexpensive foam sealant. Also, you can use foam gaskets to place behind your electrical outlet panels, places where cold air can seep into your place. Simple fixes that keep the heat in, the cold out, and your bill down. Mark Mullins, News Source 16.
This is what 5 pounds of fat would look like if we were able to just carry it around our bodies like blobs. Imagine being able to drop 4 of these from your body in a year without starving yourself and without overexerting yourself. All you have to do is eat less, and we've got 16 ways to do it.
Roasted pumpkin seeds.
For some pointers, we turn to Peace Health registered dietitian Nancy Graham, and she says the problem is simple.
Oh, they're eating way too much.
And the solution is just as simple.
It's supposed to be easy. You're supposed to feel nourished and happy and energetic, and the weight will come off.
16 easy ways, and here's the first. Write it down. When you do that, you increase awareness.
Research shows consistently people who keep some kind of journal, and it can be written down on a piece of paper, in your pocket. It can be, there are new applications on iPhones and other devices where you are just making yourself aware of how much you're eating.
Number 2, measure those